Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is that you're watching this video. So this is our third video in our video series for chapter 9, which is homeostasis. And in this video, we will enter into subtopic 9.3, where we will talk about the kidneys in human homeostatic organ, structure, and function of kidneys. Now, initially, I wanted this to be a long video where we go through everything in this subtopic, but then I realized it's a long subtopic, so I decided to break it into 4 shorter videos. So these are the things that you will go into in each of these videos. So we'll be doing one learning outcome per video. Okay, let us get ready and go into the first subtopic. Okay, we're gonna start with 9.3a, where you will describe the structure of a nephron, which is the functional unit of a kidney. So what's a kidney? Kidney is buah pinggang, of course, and it is a homeostatic organ. Dia organ yang terlibat dalam homeostasis. Kidneys will function to regulate your blood volume and composition, your blood pH. They release the hormone erythropoietin, and they excrete urine. The kidney is involved in urine formation, in which they will remove waste products of metabolism. For example, they will be involved in the removal of nitrogenous waste such as urea. In addition, the kidneys also function to maintain the water balance in the organism. When we talk about, the system in your body that produces urine, it's called the urinary system. Of course, we are talking about these things. Your urinary system will consist of your kidneys. It will consist of the ureter, which is this duct, this pair of tubes that transport urine from kidney to the urinary bladder. Next, we'll talk about the urinary bladder. This is the third part of your urinary system, and that's that. Pundi kencing. And last but not least, it is the urethra, which is the part of the organ in the urinary system that discharges urine from the body. Okay, so these are the components of your urinary system. Now let's talk about the kidneys. The kidneys are a reddish pair of bean-shaped organ. This is from a human, I think. Ini satu biji buah pinggang yang dibelah dua dari atas ke bawah. So this is a cross-section of a kidney. It looks like that thing on the right. It is located in the region of the lower back. Okay, if you're not doing anything with your hand right now, you can try to feel the back. Coba rasa belakang kamu, agak-agak di mana itu buah pinggang kamu. And your right kidney will be slightly lower than your left kidney. Now, when we look at the kidney, you can look at the structure here and also relate it to what you remember. The kidney will consist of 2 distinct regions. Ya, ada 2 part dalam kita punya kidney. Ada region which is called the renal cortex, which is the outer region, and the renal medulla, which is the inner region. So I think here you can see the renal cortex, which is the brownish part, and the renal medulla is the more reddish part. Yang putih itu bukan kira medulla sa. Yang medulla adalah bagian yang merah macam berbiji-biji ni. Cortex is the brownish part. Both regions will contain nephrons. Nephrons are long tubules surrounded by networks of capillaries. And each kidney will be supplied with oxygenated blood from the aorta via the renal artery. Artery yang masuk dalam buah pinggang adalah renal artery. Renal vein is the vein that carries deoxygenated blood from the kidney to the inferior vena cava. So the main vein in the kidney is renal vein. Okay, so this is a diagram that shows you the structure of the kidney. So ini kamu boleh nampak dia punya renal cortex, dia punya renal medulla. Renal pelvis is where it's going to attach. Renal pelvis is the white stuff or yellowish part in the middle where it's going to collect all the urea, the pee. Okay, ini adalah renal artery, renal vein, ureter, nephron. Dalam renal cortex dan renal medulla ni ada banyak nephron. Tapi dalam gambar ni, dia cuma tunjuk satu. Sebab dia malas melukis banyak. Okay, so let's talk about the nephrons. A nephron is a long tubule and it is surrounded by a network of blood capillaries. It is the functional unit of the kidney. Functional unit means inilah benda yang buat kerja dalam kita punya buah pinggang. Inilah, this tube thingy is what makes the pee. So each kidney will have about 1 million of these teeny tiny tubules. Okay, so once again, this is the structure, and you will also have a lot of blood vessels that go into the cortex and the medulla of the kidneys. Okay, we'll look at the structure of nephron. So the nephron will consist of a Bowman's capsule. It will consist of a loop of Henle. It will consist of proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, and collecting duct. Nanti kita tengok ini satu-satu. Okay, so ini adalah contoh diagram yang biasa kita guna untuk tunjukkan nephron. So it is this type of diagram more accurately shows how the nephron looks inside your kidneys. Ini jenis lukisan yang macam ni menunjukkan susunan nephron di dalam kamu punya kidney. So memang dia akan berbelit-belit macam tu. But we can also flatten out this diagram, and I will be using this diagram a lot. Ini kalau kita ambil nephron yang berbelit-belit tadi tu, kita kasih lurus dia akan nampak macam ni. Ini adalah diagram nephron yang lebih mudah difahami. So I'm going to be using this for explaining most of the processes. Okay, so this is a structure of nephron. Okay, so let's look at each of the components of the nephron. The first part is the Bowman's capsule. Tempat dia start adalah Bowman's capsule ataupun boleh juga digelar sebagai glomerular capsule. So it is a double-walled epithelial cup. It's made up of epithelial cells, and these cells surround the glomerular capillaries. Glomerular capillaries adalah benda ni yang bulat di dalam ni, the blood vessel. Bowman capsule adalah epithelial cells yang melindungi dia, mengelilingi dia, membungkus dia. Something like that. And the function of the Bowman's capsule is to filter the blood plasma. The next component of the nephron is the proximal convoluted tubule. So this is very close to the Bowman's capsule. It is highly coiled, sangat berbelit-belit, and lined with numerous microvilli to increase the surface area for reabsorption. Dia kan epithelial cell. Epithelial cell kan boleh ada jari-jari tu, which is called the microvilli. So it's gonna have a lot of that. And it contains many mitochondria to provide energy for active transport. This will be located in the renal cortex. So dia akan di sini. It's gonna be in the renal cortex. Nanti bila kamu buat soalan PKA chapter 9 soalan nombor 1, kamu boleh nampak apa bentuk epithelial cell yang ada pada proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, so that's work for later. I'm going to continue. The next component of the nephron is the loop of Henle. So dia akan masuk dari glomerulus, dia pergi kepada proximal convoluted tubule, dan dia akan turun ke bawah dan naik balik. So yang turun ke bawah dan naik balik, that part, the hairpin shaped part, hairpin macam bentuk pin rambut, has a descending limb and an ascending limb. Dia ada part yang menurun dan part yang menaik. Part yang turun dan naik ini akan masuk dalam area medulla. It is going to be in the medulla of the kidney. And the epithelial cells in the loop of Henle will have many mitochondria. After the loop of Henle, the next component of the nephron is the distal convoluted tubule. The distal convoluted tubule is away from the Bowman's capsule. and it is connected to the collecting duct. Okay, collecting duct yang sebelah kanan. And it is located in the renal cortex. It will have fewer mitochondria. Last but not least, the last part of the component of the nephron is the collecting duct. So, ini adalah saluran yang kumpul air kencing. It is located in the renal medulla, and it will drain the filtrate into the pelvis of kidney, and then the urine will flow into the ureter. So, ini adalah macam parit ataupun saluran besar yang akan kumpul air kencing daripada setiap nephron. Alright. Those are the components of the nephron. There will be blood vessels that are in the kidney that is, some of them are arteries, some of them are smaller blood vessels. So let's look at the blood vessels that are associated with the kidney and the nephron. So blood vessel yang pertama bila kita cakap pasal buah pinggang adalah renal artery. This is when blood enters the kidney by the renal artery from the aorta. And it will supply both oxygenated and unfiltered blood. Darah yang masuk banyak oksigen dan banyak kotoran. Masa tulis esei jangan dah tulis kotor. Cuba untuk ingat dan tulis unfiltered. And then when it enters, this artery will branch into efferent atriole. So dia masuk besar, dia bawa darah yang penuh dengan oksigen dan bahan yang perlu difilter, dan dia akan masuk kepada setiap arteriole yang kecil. Second blood vessel that is associated with nephrons is the efferent arterioles. The efferent arterioles, you will have one for each nephron. Each nephron receives one efferent arteriole, and it divides into tangled ball-shaped capillary network called glomerulus. It is larger in diameter compared to efferent arterioles. So, ini adalah saluran darah yang masuk, yang saya highlight dengan warna hijau ni. Dia akan masuk, dia berpecah menjadi glomerulus. Lepas tu dari glomerulus, dia akan keluar dari tube lain. So, if we give you a diagram and we don't label, you will know that it is efferent arteriole if it is bigger. Dia akan lebih lebar berbanding dengan blood vessel yang seterusnya. Blood vessel yang seterusnya adalah efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole is where blood leaves the glomerulus. It is narrower in diameter than the efferent arteriole. This is to create a blood pressure and forces fluid from the blood in glomerulus into the lumen of Bowman's capsule. Dia punya perbezaan dari diameter tu adalah untuk menjana tekanan dalam darah supaya cair dalam darah tu boleh dipaksa keluar ke dalam Bowman's capsule. Okay, yeah, so that's the part. It's the part that is going out. So this efferent arteriole, after it goes out from the glomerulus, it will be divided to form the peritubular capillaries, which surround the tubular parts of the nephron in the renal cortex. Apa maksud ke ayat yang panjang dan membingungkan ini? Maksud ayat yang panjang dan sedikit membingungkan ini adalah bila dia keluar dari glomerulus, dia akan berpecah dan membentuk peritubular capillary yang berada di kawasan ini, yang saya warnakan dengan warna purple terang. Okay, so it's going to be all around next to the proximal and distal convoluted tubules. Extending from some efferent arterioles are long loop-shaped capillaries called vasa recta that supply tubular portions of the nephron in the renal medulla. Apa maksud ka ayat yang kedua ni? From some efferent arterioles, you will have blood vessels that go to this part. Okay, yang kamu nampak saya warnakan dengan warna purple gelap. Ini adalah vasa recta. This is the diagram as shown in a textbook. Okay, so dalam ni kamu boleh nampak efferent arteriole masuk glomerulus, keluar dari efferent arteriole. Daripada efferent arteriole ada yang akan menjadi peritubular capillaries yang kelihatan di sini. Diorang berlilit-lilit, berpeluk-peluk, dengan itu nephron. Dan ada part yang menjadi vasa recta. Dia berlilit-lilit, berdekatan dengan loop of Henle. All of this will drain and go into the vein later. Okay, one more thing we forgot to mention just now is the glomerulus. Glomerulus is the highly coiled capillaries inside the Bowman's capsule. It is endothelium cells with pores, or it is called fenestra. Fenestrate. And they will attach to the basement membrane and slit diaphragm. The cells in the glomerulus will be surrounded by podocytes, which are small cells that kind of help this later. Okay, so nanti kamu akan belajar dengan lebih mendalam apa benda yang endothelium ni, fenestrate ni, basement membrane, you already know. What is podocyte? Nanti belakang-belakang kita akan ada diagram yang menunjukkan glomerulus dengan lebih tepat. Okay, so just a quick summary. This is how blood will flow in your kidney. You're going to start from the renal artery, and those will branch out into all the smaller arteries and into the efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole masuk ke dalam nephron kepada glomerulus. Daripada glomerulus dia keluar melalui efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole pergi kepada peritubular capillaries, kemudian kepada vasa recta. Selepas vasa recta dia akan gabung dengan renal vein. Sambil darah ini bergerak dan difilter, okay, sambil dia bergerak dalam buah pinggang dan dia buang dia punya bahan-bahan buangan, darah juga akan bekalkan oksigen kepada tisu-tisu di sekeliling. As the blood moves through the nephrons, through the kidneys, it's going to be filtered and it's also going to supply the kidneys with oxygen. That's why dia start dengan oxygenated, ada O2. Bila dia keluar daripada renal vein, dia sudah deoxygenated. Okay, so that's pretty much it. In this video, we already went through what is a kidney. We talked about the nephron, which is the functional unit of the kidney. And we also talked about the blood vessels that are associated with the nephrons. Okay, what should you do now? Now, you should take out a piece of paper. On a single piece of A4 paper, please draw a kidney and a nephron. Label your diagram and use this when we get to the next subtopic. Kidney itu kamu kasih kecil sikit pun tidak apa. Guna diagram yang ringkas. Tidak payah sampai detail-detail, titik-titik, apa benda semua. And for the nephron, saya galakkan kamu guna nephron yang sudah kena iron dan kasih rata itu. Kalau kamu terus guna diagram nephron yang berlilit-lilit tu, mungkin kamu rasa susah sikit melukis dan kamu give up, lepas tu kamu tertunggak kerja, tidak bagus lah. So do the simple diagram. Okay, I will also post a few links to some videos and not some videos. I'll post a link to a video that can teach you how to draw kidneys, and also a blogspot post. Okay? Right. So saya tidak akan ajar kamu macam mana melukis. These guys will teach you how to draw the kidney. Okay. That's it from me. Make sure you watch the next video for this lesson. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.